Bonjour everyone, Pantoufleee here today for a new video in which we're gonna take a look at a tank you need to be wary of, specifically when you encounter it in battle, and it's the M4A1 Revalorisé. This tier 8 medium French premium tank is probably one of the greatest as long as you know how to play it, and maybe that you know or not the history of the tank, but it got buffed several times by Wargaming because they thought on the release that it was not strong enough. Trust me, they were wrong. What changed is basically that the DPM went a little bit higher because usually, or before, I think it was in the 7.2 update or something like that, this tank had 310 alpha damage per shot, whereas now it's 350. And at the same time, it didn't have 8.5 seconds of reload, but rather 9.1. So in definitive, all the people that bought the tank long time ago and that had the pleasure of playing it after the buff were quite aroused by the fact that it just became the right tank to play with. To summarize the different parts concerning the tank, the gun is awesome, accuracy is great, gun dispersion is great, gun depression is great, DPM is great, everything is great about the gun. The mobility is quite good as well because you can go to nearly 50 kilometers per hour, which is enough and quite impressive for something that big. And at the same time, even if your armor is definitely not at the rendezvous because, well, you are a French tank, you still can bounce a couple of shells in your gun mantlet as you are about to watch in the replay. There are two things, in my opinion, that are making this tank a good one to play with. The first is that it's rare. I don't know why, but I don't see many people playing with it. I guess that usually when it's in the shop, it comes with much better tanks for the general opinion, like the Centurion 5.1, or the Carrier of an Action 10, etc, etc. But to be fair with you, as it's a tank nobody is wary about, or beware, or I don't know how we say in English, but basically you need to be wary of it. Well, as not a lot of people are doing that, they are gonna make mistakes. And the perfect example is that T69 in front of us. I feel like the guy is telling himself, okay, that's a French tank, it's going to be easy, I'm gonna penetrate, I'm gonna smoke his ass, and he's gonna cry for help and go back to the rest of his team. But what currently happened is that thanks to my 10 degrees of gun depression, I'm just snapping the life out of that T69. And to be fair with you, I was quite happy to see that my gun mantlet actually allowed me to bounce a couple of shells. But obviously, if you expect to bounce shells with the tank, you need to understand that it's going to happen only when you are getting bounced from guns that have a small caliber, or at least a small penetration. An SU-130 PM, for example, or an ISU-152 is not going to bounce on your gun mantlet. Now, that being said, how do you want to play this little fella? You want to take positions from which you only show your turret and from which you have the possibility of escaping after each shot. You do not want to do what we call hull down, which is staying in front of your opponents while showing your turret for them to bounce on your turret. Because most of the time, as I told you, they will not bounce. And once you learn that and do instead the peekaboo method, which is going out of an hull down position from which you snipe a shell, and as soon as you shoot, go back to a safe cover from which no one can shoot you, you should be safe and you should have good games. Now, of course, sometimes you can do it, sometimes you can't, and this is one of the few games in which we can't. So we are not trying to take hull down positions, to play aggressively. We don't need to. We are just waiting here patiently for the heavies to either push or for the light from our team to spot the others. And it's gonna work perfectly, because even if I'm not taking the greatest of all the positions, I'm still able to get some shells straight in. I don't know what happened with the Skoda. I guess that the guy has its turret destroyed and he doesn't want to repair it. It seems like he finally did it. And boom, thanks, see you later, alligator. We got him wrecked. We're sitting at 2,600 damage now, and it's only a matter of time before we jump on the other guys, like the WZ-110. So there we go, we push forward, we are gonna snap 1 or 2 shells, and obviously at close range we need to be extremely careful. As I told you, the main problem of those guys is that you do not have any armor, so you need to adapt, overcome, and wait for your allies to take shots for you. But hopefully here it worked, allowing us to get a victory, 3.4 thousand damage, and obviously some juicy credits that I'm not gonna share with anyone. Now, why would you want to get a Revalorisé? In my opinion, beside the skill factor, it's a tank that will really allow you to understand how Peekaboo works, and it can make you a better guy at tier 10 using, for example, an AMX 30B. But at the same time, it's the kind of tank that you are not going to play too often, but every time you do, you are going to have fun with it. This is how I feel personally about the Revalorisé. It's one of the few tanks with which I can play, like, I don't know, maybe, let's say 20 games a month. But those 20 games, even if I get totally wrecked, I'm actually going to enjoy them because this tank has everything that is suitable for someone that is already experienced into the game. Because yes, if you are a new player, do not buy the Revalorisé, otherwise you are going to get your cheeks clapped. So that's it. I just wanted to go for some nostalgia, talking about one of my favorite tanks ever, the M4 Revalorisé. We did it. I'm happy with it. Hopefully you are too, and I'm going to see you soon for a new video. Bye.